Today we are talking to Margherita Later, International Relations Manager of Italia4Blockchain and Chief Operating Officer at the TMP Group in Italy. Margherita, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Margherita, tell us a little bit about Italia4Blockchain and the work that you do in the blockchain system in Italy and around the world.
I'm glad to. Italia4Blockchain is the leading Italian non-for-profit organization. We are currently joined. We're really happy to be joined by over 600 members across the country, and we are glad also to cooperate with several partners across Europe. Our mission started with the idea that there was a need of better diffusion and understanding of blockchain technology across the country. There was a lot of interest and a lot of interesting projects coming up, but there was no clarity from the economic operators on how blockchain could actually benefit for real, in a real way, their business, maybe traditional businesses, maybe more innovative businesses. So our idea was to start diffusing and introducing the technology across the country, and at the same time working seriously and efficiently on education of current and future decision makers in order to ensure that this technology that we believe is relevant and important in the industries finds its best applications. And we are really glad to continue our work within the country and also with our friends across Europe.
So what do you think is the biggest obstacle to widespread mainstream adoption of blockchain and DLT technologies?
I think the key point that we need to achieve as organizations working in this business is to ensure that the people who actually use and exploit the technology find real benefit in this. There's many technologies coming up. Many of them really interesting, but it's really difficult for operators to choose which one fits their businesses in the best way. How can I solve a real problem? Like, people have problems in their businesses and they want solutions. They want to understand the solution, but most importantly, they want to make sure that that solution is actually benefiting their businesses and their organizations. If we are able to explain how these technologies, blockchain and DLT technologies, can ensure a real result, I'm sure we will find great space for development of the business we're in.
So what specifically should the blockchain ecosystem, and by that I mean commercial entities, governments, and academics, do to help address and overcome those obstacles?
I'll start with our key objective, being education. We really think that educating decision makers makes sense and create actual impact. So ensuring that decision makers at C-level mainly understand the benefit is crucial and is a starting point. And I think that an aligned education across countries would also be really beneficial in order to ensure that the knowledge and understanding that is happening in one reality, in one area of the world is really similar to the other one, ensure also a good level of market spread for the technologies. And on the other level, of course, synergies between organizations and within the ecosystem and between the ecosystem and the outside of the ecosystem could also be really beneficial. Trying to do this by ourselves may not be the best solution, so we're really happy to work with other organizations, even in different businesses, so that then we can find together a good understanding and a good output for the synergy.
And where do you see the worldwide blockchain industry in, say, 10 years?
I think we'll find blockchain applications in many different spaces where we are not even thinking about. The good thing of our times, of our complex times, is that it's really hard to think how far we can go in 10 years. So the good result, I think if we do a good job and if we make sure that we are doing a good job, we'll find blockchain in many spaces, in many industries, and maybe we will be so used to it that we will not be even discussing blockchain. Sometimes we use technologies we're not discussing. We're not discussing how energy works. We just have it. Maybe in 10 years, if we do our job well, we'll have the same result.
So what use cases are you most excited about coming online in the next year or two?
I think we'll see great results in the synergy between manufacturing industry and blockchain. We're starting to see really interesting movement, and I'm always happy to see how traditional businesses even big, really big businesses, but it's very traditional, can find good results in applying technologies. So we're seeing some really interesting applications in the processes that they have, both for machines and for people. So that's where my focus is. And I think it would be really interesting to see what's coming.
Great. And so are there any specific blockchain projects that you or that Italia4Blockchain are working on that you think will improve major systems or services in the near future?
We're working super hard on our notarizations project, and we're trying to ensure a good spread of that project across the country. We're finding good results in working together, for example, with associations and with organizations that are having really hard times in ensuring good tracking of many of their processes. So we're fully focused on that. And we hope to see more results. We already had some great results and applications, real applications in the real world, but we're happy to see more coming.
Great to hear. Last question to you. What role do you think INATBA plays in the global blockchain ecosystem?
So as I said at the beginning, there is no way we are doing this alone. Like there's no single organization on the planet that can think to change the market and the reaction of the market. The role INATBA plays is becoming more and more crucial in, first of all, supporting regulators and understand how the business has to be developed. That's one really important job that we have as INATBA. And on the other one is to connect the various operators. There's many great operators in the world, and sometimes it's really hard to connect between each other. And maybe sometimes we are overlapping so much that we're not understanding that maybe we could work together. So I think also the network development job that the INATBA is doing is really relevant and will become more relevant in the upcoming years, but I see also months. So, but for sure in the upcoming years.
Great. Thank you so much, Margherita, for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. And I can't wait to see what's coming next for INATBA as well.